So, Stephanie, how you doing?
Hi Joe, I am very well, thank you. How are you on this fine morning?
Yep, I'm doing very well. Doing very well. I'm a little bit hungry. I had a bit of breakfast this morning, but not anything proper.
Yes, I know what you mean. I'm a bit peckish myself.
Yep, a bit peckish.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I've got family I'm living with, and they are next door making a full English, and yeah, I am so ready for it. To be honest, I want to eat that.
I love a full English. Oh my goodness. Beans, what else? Hash browns. I love a hash
I'll
brown.
stick it on. I'll stick it on a full English. Yeah, sausage, bacon, eggs. However you decide to have your eggs.
Poached for me. Poached my favourite, but it does take a bit longer.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the art to the full English is the timing, right? Everything's got to be ready and hot at the same time.
You're right. Are you someone who eats black pudding? Are you a black pudding fan?
I'll go there. I won't buy it, but yeah, if it's like an option, I'm not going to say no. Definitely,
Okay.
give me everything.
Yeah.
Mushrooms, I'm ready for. Like, I won't put a grilled tomato on my plate, but if it comes in with the menu, I'm eating that as well.
Yes, I don't get the grilled tomatoes. They just get all watery all over the plate and sog out your hash browns and
It
things.
is weird. It is weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I do love a full English. I think it's one of my favorite things. If I was to stay at a hotel or something in the UK, I always look forward to breakfast.
Oh man.
Just, yeah, it's one of my favorites, I would say.
It's nothing. Yeah, I mean, you compare it to like a European continental breakfast that you get if you go to France or something, and you're like, what is this?
I mean, I love croissants, yeah, like they're great, but they're not the same as a full English. Full English is just, yeah, it's the best.
That's a snack. I mean, it's not a breakfast.
Yeah.
I remember, like, especially in Italy. I mean, in Spain they eat a decent sized breakfast, and then they have like something at lunch. But in Italy, I couldn't believe how little they eat. In the UK, we like for breakfast. In the UK, we need something, that fills us up and gets us ready for the day.
Totally. But, talking of British food, I actually made a cottage pie the other day. Are you a fan of cottage pie?
Love a bit of cottage pie. How'd you make it?
I usually use, beef. So cottage pie would be beef. I think shepherd's pie would be lamb mince.
Yep.
I prefer beef, to be honest. So yeah, beef, onions, some tomatoes, tin tomatoes, bit of garlic, bit of Worcester sauce, very important.
Important one.
And yeah, lots of nice creamy mashed potato on top, grated cheddar,
Yep.
and just all bubbly in the oven.
Stick that in the oven. Oh.
Yeah, it's really nice. And I love to eat it with ketchup, and maybe some baked beans on the side.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I have it with baked beans, but that would definitely work. Mash and beans is a good combo. Yeah, it's like that kind of texture thing, right? When it comes out the oven, the top is like crunchy and crispy, and you can get into it, and then you've got the mince underneath.
A lot of my students, they come to London. And of course, because London is such a, multicultural city, you can find food from all around the world over here, which is one of the reasons why I love it. But they often come to me and say, what is British food?
I am from London, so in my head, I have that experience the same as you and your students. I suppose I didn't really know. We had the stuff that we would eat on a Sunday, like a roast, some
Yeah.
like some roast chicken with vegetables, all the trimmings, like the carrots, the peas, roast potatoes, things like that. Shepherd's pie or cottage pie, like you said. And then the East London sort of signature meal is pie and mash. And that is something that I was kind of a staple for me. I was brought up on that. So like, and they believe that it's the oldest form of fast food in the world.
Really? I'm surprised. Okay.
There's an East End pie and mash shop on Hoxton Street in East London, well, North East London, but and that's been going for 160 years. That food was to feed the dockers in the East End. So you'd go there quick in the morning or for lunch, and you just get your pre-made pies, mash, and a bit of, they call it liquor. It's like a parsley sauce. It's not very appetizing. It's like like a green sauce.
It's quite runny, isn't it? It's
like,
liquidy.
yeah, runny, liquidy kind of green sauce that it doesn't look that natural on a pie. We're used to brown, like gravy, That's
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
put green stuff on it, but
Do you like that? Do you like liquor?
I love it. I love it.
Do you? I've never tried it, to be honest. Never tried it, but I'd like to.
Yeah, that and a bit of chili vinegar.
I do like a bit of chili, yeah. I've started to like it. I mean, I used to eat everything kind of very bland, well, not bland, but mild, let's say. So if I went for a curry, I'd always get the chicken korma or something like that. That was very kind of, yeah, mild, let's say. But nowadays, I like a bit more spice
Mm.
in my life. And yeah, I've been trying hotter curries. In fact, curry is apparently one of the main established British foods as well,
Yep,
which
I suppose it's part of it's like our history, right? So we, however, like people want will think about it, we have a connection with the East and lots of spices, etc. And then, but I think the curry became very big around the sort of 60s, 70s when lots of people from India and Bangladesh
Mhm.
and Pakistan came to the UK, and now it's basically our favorite meal.
Right, have you ever had a curry in Birmingham?
I haven't.
The best curry I've ever had, to be honest. I've never been to India, so I don't know what it's like there, but in Birmingham, yeah, we went to a Balti
Okay.
restaurant, and it was the best one. I remember it to this day. This was about 6 years ago. Best curry ever.
That is a big thing. I know most big cities in the UK will have a curry mile where there'll be like a long street where it's just Indian, Bangladeshi food restaurants. So in London, it's in East London. Brick Lane is the famous one,
Yeah,
sort of Shoreditch Brick Lane. Some of our listeners might have been
yeah.
in Manchester. It's the north of Manchester, the Curry Mile, and there's one in Bradford as well, which is in Yorkshire. And yeah, there you can get a York curry if you wanted in a Yorkshire pudding.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. Yeah, surely they don't go together.
It's a clash of cultures there. The Yorkshire pudding, I don't know, maybe you could explain what a Yorkshire pudding.
Oh, I have made them before at home. You need flour, eggs, I think a bit of milk, and then you whisk it all up. You mix it all up, and it becomes like a kind of like a batter, like a liquidy
Yeah,
batter.
yeah,
And then you've got to have a really, really hot oven
yeah.
with some hot oil or butter. And yeah, you kind of make these. I guess you would describe it as a kind of almost like a very soft bread, and it rises up in the oven. It's crunchy on the outside, soft on the
It's
inside.
airy as well, isn't it? But the big
Mm,
thing about it is it's shaped like a little bowl, right? It rises into a bowl shape, so it's perfect if you want. You can fill it with gravy, you can fill it with whatever you like. But yeah, in Yorkshire, you can go to pubs where you just get a massive Yorkshire pudding, and it's basically the plate, and you just all of the rest of the food goes in this big Yorkshire pudding, which is the bowl, and yeah, you can just
yeah,
eat your bowl more or less.
very eco-friendly. See,
Yeah, they do them at some festivals now as well. It's like a good food to just walk around and
so good, so good. I mean, it's from what we've been saying, all the food we've been talking about. I'd probably say that British food is quite heavy, right? Like a bit
yeah,
stodgy.
certainly.
Yeah, a lot of potato, a lot of pastry, butter, those sorts of all those good things.
Yep. Potato pastry and meat, I suppose. It's
Yes, meat. Yeah, pork is very popular,
oh
isn't it?
yeah, yeah. We love pork in many forms, I suppose. Yeah,
Yeah.
sausages and bacon. Obviously, we're big fans of. Yeah, some pork chops. What about Cornish pasty? That is a fantastic. What would you say that is? That there is like a
Like a mini pie, really.
yeah,
A portable pie
yeah, flaky pastry, right?
filled with usually beef. Like traditionally, it's beef, a bit of potatoes, some
Maybe
peas.
some carrot sometimes. I
Yeah,
always find that they're quite peppery. Like that's kind of a thing. They're supposed to be. The
yeah,
point of them is that you're able to take them with you. It's like again a bit like the Yorkshire pudding, I suppose. Something that you can hold in your hands that has the starch, that has the carbohydrates, and everything else that you need to eat. You know?
exactly. Yeah, so it's like a little pocket lunch, all in one.
Yeah.
I heard that apparently Cornish pasties were invented for the miners who used to spend, hours out in the mines, and they'd need a substantial lunch. So they would pop one or two maybe in their pocket.
Okay.
And yeah, as you said, they'd get everything they need for the day.
Just holding it in a pouch. You know,
Yeah,
you can't be using knives and forks in the mines.
no, exactly, exactly. So do you have a a favorite British food, or I don't know, if even a favorite British dessert, because desserts here, to be honest, that I've tried desserts in a lot of other countries, and I always go back to British desserts. I love
You
them.
know what I had, and I hadn't had for a long time since I've been away for quite a long time. I had the other day. I had apple crumble with custard, and I mean, custard. I hadn't had custard for a long time. It took me back. I got very nostalgic.
Oh,
Yeah, I felt like I was in primary school again. Like I should be sitting on a little chair with
yeah,
little knife and fork or a spoon. Custard,
yeah.
apple crumble. I was in
Mm,
heaven.
delicious. Yeah.
What's yours?
For sweet stuff, I'd definitely say I love Victoria sponge, which apparently was invented by Queen Victoria herself
Oh yeah.
for afternoon tea. Yes, it's basically like a vanilla sponge cake, let's say, filled with jam. I like raspberry jam in mine, but some people put strawberry jam. And some nice freshly whipped cream or buttercream.
That is a fantastic one. If we're on the topic, high tea is a fancy thing. I actually have never really had it the way that you're supposed to have it. It's very decorative, right? So is it the one where you have a three layers, right? Is there an order to which they go? I know that you have like finger sandwiches, right?
Yes, very dainty finger
Yeah.
sandwiches at the
So
bottom.
small
Yeah.
sandwiches, and then scones. Now, do you say scone or scone?
I say scone. What do you
I
say?
say scone.
High five, virtual high five.
Virtual high five. Yeah, for me, I hear more. Maybe Americans say scone. I don't know.
Americans make scones, but they call them biscuits.
Ah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't know. We call biscuits something else. They say cookies. We say
yeah.
biscuits. We say scone. They say biscuits. I don't know.
Their ones are salty, right? I think theirs are more savoury, and
Yeah,
ours are for sweet stuff.
yeah,
So you used to have your tea, drink your tea very politely. What time would you think? About 2ish?
yeah. Like 2, 3 p.m. I
Okay.
think.
Some tea, some little sandwiches, and then afterwards, would you have your scones? Do you work your way up the tray?
Yeah, so it goes finger sandwiches at the bottom. Middle tray would be, yeah, scones with cream and jam. And then, if you're feeling extra indulgent, the top layer would be like little cakes, like mini cakes, or maybe a slice of Victoria sponge.
So it gets sweeter as you go up.
Yeah.
That lovely jubbly. That sounds.
I love that sort of thing. It's very popular for birthday treats and things like that. I've seen so many groups of, usually women, I would say, groups of women or girls like kind of going to a cafe and treating themselves to an afternoon tea, maybe with a glass of prosecco on the side or champagne if you're feeling flush.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy for prosecco or cava.
I love cava. Apparently, in England, cava's kind of seen as the
The cheap version.
cheaper version, but I think it tastes
Yeah,
great.
I'm a big fan, but not till later. Yeah.
Yeah, not now, not now.
And now, as it's Friday, maybe will you be having any fish? I know that that's a pretty common thing. There's a fish and chip shop right near me which does these massive portions of fish. See,
Yum.
fish and chips, probably the meal most synonymous with the UK. And this fish and chip shop every Friday, because traditionally Christians will eat fish on Fridays. This fish and chip shop has people lining up in a queue around the block. It's so popular.
Really?
All this talk of food has made me think, let's get some fish and chips later.
That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I eat fish and chips on a Friday. To be honest, I don't eat it that much. Maybe I should eat it more because it is really tasty.
Well, now we're in London. Once the quarantine's lifted, go and get fish
Yeah.
and chips with the gang. Anyway, I fancy a little bit more food, I think, before we start the day's lesson. So I might try and get in on that full English.
Yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, lovely chatting with you. All this talk has made me famished. So I'm ready.
Yes,
I'm ready.
me too. I think I need a snack.
Yeah. So let's call it a day and
All right.
head off. Have a fantastic weekend, Steph.
Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.